Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to ChannelBK. My name is Brian. Welcome to a very late review. I'll explain why in a second, but for Björk's Vulnicura. Before I get into this review, I am going to ask certain petty things, but if you like this review, please like, and also please subscribe. I have a lot of other music reviews, and as well as movie and TV reviews, and I'm going to be trying to roll out a lot of new stuff in the near future, so you should definitely be on the lookout for that. And also, there might be certain mispronunciations. I'm going to try my best with certain things. I'm only putting that at the beginning, because I know if I mispronounce something and I don't mention it in the annotations or whatever, people are going to slander me in the comments. But anyway, here we go. Björk is a producer, a singer, and a songwriter from Iceland, and this is her 9th studio album. And the main reason why I wasn't going to review this album is mainly because of two things. One, it has been a while since it did leak, and then Björk just ended up putting it out on iTunes, and I know the physical release is still coming in a few weeks or so. But in all honesty, and I'm going to be 100%, this is my first real introduction, first album listen of any Björk project. Björk has been around for a long time, and I've never not known about her. I'm pretty sure I've heard songs of hers in the past, but this is the first time I really sat down and I got to see what she was all about. You know, I've heard from many people things about her production, her songwriting, her singing, all this sort of stuff, her creativity, and I've been dying to just maybe get some form of a project from her to really review and listen to, and since this came out this year and everyone's been anticipating it, I wanted to go into this review, into this album, as sort of a fresh Björk listener. So I guess if you guys have any particular Björk albums I should maybe revisit other than this one, please leave it in the comments below. But in all honesty, I really did like this album. Sort of on the first real listening of this album, I didn't really know what to really expect production-wise. I did hear that Arca did pretty much a majority of the production or co-production with Björk, and as you guys all know, she produced a couple tracks off of Yeezus. That was really my first introduction to her, but she mainly produced FKA Twigs' last album, and I thought a lot of the production on that was really great. So it was cool to sort of see that combined strength from the both of them. Now I'm going to say two things right off the bat. I love Björk's singing. I love it. Obviously, throughout all of these tracks, I think she has a great way of great cadences. She just knows how to have such raw emotion, and her voice is super unique. Her lyrics are pretty great and heartfelt and heartbreaking. And two, I just love the production. There's just strings over a bunch of these songs, great strings, some great backing layers of production, weird little instrumentation here and there, and I thought it was absolutely grand at a lot of spots. Stonemilker is the first track on this album, and I love this track as much. I love the way it swells in with these great strings, and then once sort of the heavy production comes in, it's just a great song. And again, Björk just absolutely kills it on this track, and I thought this was such a great way to intro into this album. Unlike tracks like Lionsong, which is the second track, which I love as well, has this really interesting kind of breaking beat to it. Like, it sounds a little bit different than what I was really expecting from Björk. And maybe this is a little bit different, maybe this is similar to maybe things she's done in the past, but I thought that was a really interesting sort of break, and it was very unique in terms of a pop album, the way that she adds sort of this classical instrumentation, but there's a lot of great layerings of sort of modern and very lively production throughout a lot of these tracks. History of Touches, which is another favorite track of mine, which is the third track on this album, is a very short track, actually the shortest on the album, and really the main track just has this background pulsating throughout the whole entire thing. There's light little tinges throughout it, and then there's really heavy pulsings throughout the track as well, and I thought that was a great sort of transition between the two of them. And again, just every single track up until this point, I just love the way Björk sings, and I think it was just really grandiose. But this track in particular, though, was actually a little bit more turned down. It was a little bit more deeper and a little bit darker. Not Get and Atom Dance are two very interesting tracks because they're both whimsical when I first heard them, but when you listen to Not Get, it's sort of like these weird backwards warped sounds, but it still sounds kind of upbeat and but more whimsical, whereas on Atom Dance it's a little bit happier sounding, it's a little bit more upbeat, and it's a complete 180 to what Not Get got us, and I really loved Atom Dance. Atom Dance was one of my favorite tracks on the album, and Anthony Higarty, I believe that's how you say it, I know I'm probably butchering his name, I thought he was a great addition on this track as well with some extra vocals near sort of the second half of the track. Family was another one of my favorite tracks. I love sort of the synth layers with the strings on this. It was such an eerie track, especially near the end, where it just gets really just dark and heavy. And Björk's sort of point of view and lyrics on this track was so great, and the second I heard it, I instantly got hooked. Whereas the first couple tracks, I sort of had to get into what this was all about, and revisiting certain tracks, I really kind of started to slowly understand and reading into them. But this track on first listen, I sort of got sucked in by what she was saying. But to be 100% honest with you, I think there's certain tracks that haven't really stuck with me as much, but there's one track in particular that I think is kind of a weak track, and that is Quicksand, which is actually the last track on this album. Every single track I thought was well produced, I thought was well mixed. Everything felt very layered, heavy when it needed to, light when it needed to, but this track just felt very incomplete. There was something about the weird beat, and who knows, maybe the concept of what the song title and whatnot was about, maybe it actually worked very well, but it just felt completely off from what the rest of the project was giving me in terms of these very grand strings and great instrumentation and production. And this track kind of fell flat, and it fell flat in a lot of ways because this was the last track to end it off, and it was also a short way to end it off as well, and I thought that was sort of a little bit of a track. And Black Lake, where I don't necessarily despise the track, I love each sort of time it changes up. It gets faster near the end and then it slows down, and each time there's little additions to what Björk is doing in terms of the production, or maybe things she's saying and all this sort of stuff, and then she kind of changes up the way she's singing it and the beat gets a little faster. I just wasn't as captivated, I don't think, by this song as other songs on the album. But honestly, I thought this album was pretty good for the first time listener of Björk. But what do you guys think of this album? Obviously, I know I'm really late to this, but leave it in the comments below. Again, to Björk fans or people that are just music fans in general, what are some albums that Björk has done that I should maybe take another listen to? Maybe if there were certain things on here that I didn't like or liked that I could avoid or see on different albums of hers, leave those in the comments below as well. And also, are there any albums out right now that you guys want to see me review? Also, leave those in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in to Channel BK. Peace out, guys.